So behind us is a football field. What did football teach you, and what do you think the life lessons football brings to kids?
When I look back on it, I had a high school degree, I had an undergraduate degree and a master's degree, and I think more of life lessons came from my participation in football than maybe the coursework that I had. And I mean that because of life, you know, on the goal line, it's 4th and 1, 11 on one side and 11 on the other side, coming together to score or stop the score, the teamwork and all those great lessons of football. And then to coach it for 46 years, I think back when I was about 12 years old and decided football is what I wanted to do, I made a good decision.
When did you realize you had the impact on young men and women, because you go out and talk to a lot of people? When did you realize you had that type of impact?
That's a great question, and I think the answer to that would be really not until I retired. So we'd be sitting at home with my wife, you know, in an afternoon about 2:30, and you get a phone call. And you may forget the games and the wins and the losses, but you'd never forget the players. And as soon as he would mention his name, you had an image of a youngster. You might remember the number, or you might remember something about him. And then he would say this. He'd say, "Coach, do you remember back when I was a sophomore and I was struggling? I had problems with the university and academics. Maybe I had some things going on at home. And we walked down the hall and you looked at me and you said something. And it made a difference in my life. And here I am now with a wife and a family, and I'm doing very well in the workplace, and I want to thank you." Now, I can't remember that moment in the hallway, and I can't remember exactly what I said unless he will refresh my memory, but you realize then the impact that you have on the young men and young women that you're involved with in the program.
Is there a common theme that you've had as a coach that you tell just about every position group, every team, every community, wherever you may be? Is there a theme for Jack Harbaugh?
It all took place here at Michigan in the 7 years we were here with Bo, from 1973 to 1979. Every single day I was here, the theme was the team, the team, the team. And then he would talk about no coach, no player, no one is more important than this team and how they perform. And that became the mantra of my coaching career, was the team. And the other thing we stumbled on as a young guy growing up in a little town of Crestline, Ohio, Sandlot. You've seen that movie? Oh my goodness!
Movie,
Is it the best movie you've ever seen?
I love it. Yeah.
And we were the Sandlot. We'd at 8 o'clock in the morning and play something, and then go for lunch, come back dark, and kick the can because you can't see the ball anymore. But we had a group of about 9, 10, 11, 12 of us that would get together every day. At the end of the day, we'd look at each other and we'd say, "Who's got it better than us?" And then a group would say, "Nobody." And so as a coach, then it carried on with teams and with our own family. You'd be around the dinner table, and we had 2 nickels not to rub up against 2 other nickels, but you'd say, "Who's got it better than us?" Nobody. And if you say it enough, you actually believe it.
Right.
And it becomes part of your personality.
Is that part of what sports teaches kids, do you think? Not just the physical, not being out there and playing and running and jumping and being teammates, but being mentally strong too?
I think it does. And something else we've kind of stumbled on in our life. There's no one out there that can believe in themselves until they find someone that believes in them. Someone that refreshes them and reinforces them. And we would hope that it would be dad, mom in the normal family, but that doesn't always happen. So now we have to go to the next level. Is there an elementary teacher that believes in them? If not there, then it moves on. But at some point in time, when they reach the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, hopefully they found that one person, a coach, a teacher, in the clergy, boys, something where someone believes in them. Then I think they have a chance to move on and be successful. And another thing I always like to talk to our team about, when I would recruit a youngster to come to Western Kentucky or Western Michigan, when I was head coaches at those 2 schools, the dream is good. Believe that you can be an NFL football player if that's your dream. But 1% of all the youngsters that play football in high school will ever have a chance to play football in college on a scholarship. Less than 1% of that group that's playing college football will ever play a down in the NFL. So the odds get very, very tough in order to reach that dream. Believe in it, but understand the insurance policy. The only true insurance policy you have is that one in your pocket that says that you've received a degree from a university.
The bottom line is we're coming together for the common cause.
And I think that's the team that Bo echoed so much. It just isn't football and winning games. It has to do with how you live your life. You know, waking up in the morning with that enthusiasm unknown to mankind. I'm going to make this day better than yesterday, and I'm going to make tomorrow better today. And it isn't just athletics or football, and it's life. I want to be better at life. Play.
Are we doing too much for our kids? Should we give them a little bit more credit and an opportunity to do just that? Take that responsibility.
No question. I mean, totally.
I think the family involvement, the mom and dad, the bigger brother, the older sister, them taking that interest, I think that's part of the battle. Am I wrong?
I want to run this by you, and I want you to comment on it. One of the things I enjoyed as a parent was taking my children to games.
Agreed.
The ride to the game.
They're in the back seat. They don't know you're listening.
No.
You're not listening to the radio.
You turn the radio off. We didn't have the phones and all that stuff, and you just listened.
Right on. That's exactly what I do.
You just listened, and you picked up things, and then every once in a while, because the story with the Harbaugh thing is, attack the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Well, they'd be riding the back seat, they'd be pounding on that. Gentlemen, attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And they look at me like I had two heads. But now, that's what they talk. John talks to the Ravens about.
Sure.
Jim talks to the Wolverines about. Enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
And that message then gets passed down, doesn't it?
And it had nothing to do with playing. It had to do with the ride to the game.
Yeah, had to do with living.
Exactly.